everybody. How are we all doing today? Thank you so much for joining me today. Please hop in the comments right away, like Pamela and Raymond are doing. Let me know how you're doing, where you're tuning in from, something you're excited to learn today. And also, please call out if you've been attending any of these past events we've been doing lately. In the last few weeks, we've really been trying to do events that provide you with actionable steps to taking your business online, whether that's creating coursing projects, just having a lead form, starting to grow your email list and your audience, building your Teachable homepage, all of those things. Please go check out our YouTube channel, Spotlight by Teachable, where we've been offering these events. We've also gotten the chance to sit down with a couple creators, Kay Putnam and Terry Rice, talking about email strategies with Kay and ways to grow your audience without being tied to social media or becoming an influencer. And then with Terry Rice, we talked about some really actionable ways to start by taking your business online using your services, which we've also been doing in other events as well. I got a bunch of people tuning in here. It is a blast to have you all here. If you've been following along with our whole kind of train of thought, train of events over the last few weeks, we've really been trying to build a framework for you to take your business online and start building your courses and everything on Teachable. And today we are going to be diving into, in my opinion, the number one thing you need to do before you build a course. So it looks like everyone is here. We got people from Houston, Texas, from New York City, tuning in from Washington, D.C., Long Island. Sarah, it's a pleasure to see you here. Pamela is always here as well. Love you here, Pamela. And awesome. One other thing I want to call out, and I'll point to it in the future as well, but make sure to check out the mini course that we just released. We put out a free mini course. It's called Establish Your Home Base on Teachable. It's a 5-day challenge. It should only take 10 to 15 minutes a day to accomplish. And it's really there to help you onboard onto the Teachable product, to establish a homepage that represents your brand and business, and also have a lead capture form so you can start collecting and leads and growing your audience before you even have any products. It's super valuable to start growing an audience before you have your products, because you're going to need an audience when it's time to sell them. And I know there's a couple people, at least Pamela, who are already in that course, but holler if you've started that course. If you haven't, there is a link in the description to do so. But let's dive in today. Super excited to get in here. So let's start out. It's time to have a course. You have your course, you have your curriculum, you have all of the things you need, and you're starting to think about launching your course. Well, it can be an intimidating process, especially if you've never launched a course before. But I want to ask you, what if you could, in the process of launching your course, test your curriculum? That means validate and improve your curriculum with a small group of students. What if you could build your A team, create a loyal group of students who will champion your brand, be launch ready? So by the time you take your course 100% to the public, you enter your course launch with a real testimonial and proof of transformation. So you're not waiting for those first students to get in the course before you already have proof of that transformation. That stuff is super valuable. And then you can also pre-sell smarter. So create a promotional mechanism that maximizes your reach and potential by having students do some of that heavy lifting for you. So if that sounds like something that's interesting to you, that's why we're here today. We're going to talk about the number one thing you can do to achieve all of these things before you launch your course to the public. And the secret is quite simple. It's just running a beta program of your course. This is something I'm doing right now. So I built a course on becoming your own producer. It's for audio, or it's for musicians looking to be audio engineers, but specifically looking to be able to record and produce high quality music at home that they can then work with an engineer to finally spiff it up and put it out. And I am running the beta program right now. So I am super excited for this whole event and to answer any questions you have. Drop them in the comments as we go. If I don't get to them right away, I've set aside time at the end. And also, by the way, if I move fast or anything, there will be a replay of all of this available. It'll be on YouTube, it'll be on the Spotlight event page. So don't fret, we're going to get into it. But I just wanted to call out I am in this process right now. So it's not some ethereal thing. I'm doing it right now. These are lessons I've learned, and I can't wait to share with you. So before we totally dive into kind of how a beta program works or how you can run one yourself, this is there are some prerequisites to this. So you can't just be starting out without a course or any of this. So if you're going to take advantage of this and you know that you're ready to do this when you have these things, you're going to need some curriculum. At minimal, you need a rough and ready curriculum that is put into the Teachable platform. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's part of the beauty of a beta course is you're going to be using that beta program to then refine the course material. But you need to have your lectures in there. You need to have some sense of curriculum built around a clear transformation, right? So with my course, I'm saying I'm taking you from being a musician to a confident music producer who can produce your own music. I have a curriculum that is in the course that is structured to achieve that transformation. The second thing you're going to need is a little bit of a network. Now, if you've been following our instructions, if you've been playing around with building an email list, if you have a bit of a social media following, when I say a bit, that could be tens of people. We don't have to think of thousands, but even just a few people, you likely already have a network. But have you taken the effort to put them into a place where you can access them, where you can engage them, and where you can use them? That would look like if you have a following on Instagram, do you have a regular conversation with them? If you have a network on LinkedIn, do those people expect to hear from you? Have you been engaging your audience? If you have an email list, is it all in one place? Is it in a CRM like MailChimp or something like that? Excuse me one sec. I need a drink of water. And and I love this. Just like Pamela is saying, offering a beta program can be friends, families. Just tell them to be ah, brutally honest. Your small email list will grow. Pamela, I love that. Exactly. You have a network. You don't have to think of having a huge following, just a network. People who are interested in the product. If you've done the work we've talked about in past events, validating your product, or in the event we did last week, talking all about using coaching and consulting services to build your curriculum, you know that you already have a network of people. You just need to assemble them in a place where you can reach out to them and access them. The other thing you're going to need for this, and I know we've talked about a lot of ways to reduce the amount of time. We built that mini course specifically for busy people. But when it comes to running a beta program, this is kind of when it's going to take some time. You need to put aside 5 to 10 hours a week that you can dedicate to assisting your students on their journey. That said, with your beta program, you should be very clear about the schedule for the program, both for yourself and the students. So, this 5 to 10 hours a week is not going to last forever. This is just for this beta program, it's just for this specific part of the process. So, it's not like from now until the end of time, you need those 5 to 10 hours a week. But you do need to show up. You need to be involved. Although a course can make passive income in the future, this part of it, the beta program, does take time and effort. And the last thing you need is the tools. Being familiar with the tools you're using makes all the difference. So, once again, I'll call it out. We've been doing a lot of events in the past few weeks, diving into the Teachable product, how to specifically use aspects of Teachable. That's going to help you get familiar with the Teachable format. I'm going to give you some other tools today that you can use, but I just want to be very clear. This is the point where in your process where you are ready to buckle down and actually put in the effort to make sure that you don't just have a curriculum, but that you have an impactful, transformative curriculum, that you have a group a core group of students who will champion your product, and that you show up ready to launch your course with all of the tools you need and not waiting to assemble things like testimonials and all of that. So let me know if you're all here, if you're following me so far, if this sounds good. I know Pamela's here. I know that Sarah is staying active. So keep dropping comments or questions in the chat. I want to make sure you're all with me throughout this whole process. So, like, but how do you do this though? So we've talked about the prerequisites that you are going to need. Let's talk a little bit about the process. And it can vary a lot creator to creator, depending on kind of the length of your course. I do want to call out, you can also do this when you're using a free mini course or stuff. The idea of a beta program is not something new. Big businesses do it for their apps. Like basically everyone does it. So you should approach it with the same kind of like mentality and the same seriousness, just to really refine and make a fantastic product. So the first thing you're going to need to do is clarify. You need to be really clear about what you're expecting from students and what they should expect from you. This is a two-way street. So this clarity is not just for your students, it's also for you. Because like I said, this beta program is going to take a little more of your time. Big mistake I made when starting my beta program is I was not clear enough about the amount of time it would take me. Immediately, I started seeing holes in my curriculum. I wanted to update the students for that. I'll be honest, I am in like a month-long gap right now with my beta program. I told all the students, okay, I'm sorry, we got to stop halfway through the course, but I am redesigning the second half of this course because what I've heard from the first half is you need more. So just as an example, that like that clarity is super important to just be upfront with your students. I wish I had known a little more what I know now, because my students would have known better what to expect from me. Also, remember this initial group of students, it's not like students in the future who are just going to read your sales page, engage with some of your content, and then go and, buy the course and work their way through it. If that's how you're building your course, there's many different kinds of courses. But in the future, students might be a lot more passive. This initial group of students you're going to work closely with, and you're also asking a little more from them. Although future students may leave testimonials and things like that, those need to be prerequisites for this beta program. So I do think that you should charge for your course, your beta program as well. However, I'm doing mine on a donation base because I'm asking for a lot of time from the students. And it was a prerequisite going into my beta program that you're going to be expected to do a video testimonial, that you're going to be expected to give feedback throughout the course. I'm going to be asking you regularly what you think of different things and if you have different ideas. And it's also a prerequisite that the students are willing to show what kind of stuff they were making before the course and what kind of stuff they're making after the course, so that I have clear, honest proof of that transformation. So I'm asking for more from these students than I will from future students. Although future students may give me those things. Like I said, going into the beta program, I told all of these students these are required. So make sure that you can do that. If you attended one of last week's events, you will have seen this already, but I just want to remind you, this is a little kind of equation that I keep in my head when I'm asking for this investment. So it's basically the investment you're asking for your students is going to be a measure for your students between the outcome, what they're going to get out of it, divided by the time and money that it takes them. So if you ask for more time from them, you might want to ask for a little less money. If the outcome is smaller, both the time and the money need to be diminished. So this is not like solid science or math here, but hopefully it just helps you figure out a little bit how you can ask for that initial investment and how to weigh it so it's a fair investment to ask from the students. So once you've clarified what that investment is that you're asking your students to, put into this beta program, and it's not like you should undervalue, you're obviously promising a transformation, but like I said, you're asking more from them than you will future students. Excuse me. The second thing you're going to do is reach out. So now you need to get those students. Start with your existing clients and students, people you've already worked with. If you've been following along, we are big proponents of testing your curriculum either in mini courses, that like free mini courses, email courses, or more one-on-one in coaching and actual like lessons with people or group lessons and stuff like that. So you should already have at this point a little bit of a network of people that are interested in your bigger, fuller curriculum. So reach out to those people first. Say, hey, I know we did a little bit of this, but would you be willing to like actually experience the entire transformation, the entire thing? If you've already proven that transformation with that student, you're asking a little more from them because they've already accomplished that goal. But maybe there's people that they know. Make it super easy to share. So when you're reaching out to your community, you're asking those people, but you also want to make clear to them, like, if this isn't right for you, or if you already feel like we've done this together, please let me know if there's someone who would be interested and forward this to them. So we covered this in a past event as well, but this is exactly where this template is useful. So screenshot this, come back to it in the replay. This is the exact template I use when I am texting my student or potential students, emailing potential students. You want to keep it short and snappy. And for me, this encapsulates the investment and the problem and the transformation, everything that I'm trying to get through to that person as quickly as possible. So the way this works is I am helping insert your audience, who insert the problem that they're dealing with, become the transformation you're promising in this much time. So for me, this phrase looked like I am helping passionate musicians who struggle to produce professional quality music become skilled and confident producers in 2 months. So hop in the comments. Let me know if that makes sense, if that feels actionable. You can morph and change this, of course, but I'm trying to just give you a template you can use right away. And it's super actionable. It worked. Using this template is how we got our first group of 7 to 10 students in our beta program. So this isn't just fluff. I know it works. And for those that couldn't attend or it didn't seem like a good fit, remember to include the share. If that sounds like you, let's work together. If this sounds like someone you know, forward this to them. You would be surprised how effective this is and how helpful this is. I think 3 out of the 7 students that we got in our beta program weren't actually initially people we reached out to. It was a share or sent off to another person. So please, please, please encourage anyone you reach out to share this. That's number one, how we grow our network and get people outside of our friends and family to start engaging with our products. That becomes exponential growth over time. I can't accentuate how important this is. All right. So there's 2 more steps that I think are absolutely vital to running a beta program. The third step is creating community. So you need to create a space, have a space where all of your students from the beta program through to the final course, when there's actually people there, can engage with each other. I think one of the most valuable things of an online course isn't necessarily the curriculum, it can be the community. There's courses I've paid for just to be part of the community. I'll call it, we had Corey Wong, who's a fantastic guitarist. He did an event with us, and I bought his course immediately. Yes, because I was interested in the course. I'll work through that in time. But what was exciting to me is the Discord server that he has of just a bunch of guitar nerds talking. That may not sound exciting to you, but for me, that was worth the $200 alone. So highly, highly, highly recommend setting up a place where people can engage. A couple versions of this, and you should be familiar with some. Circle is a fantastic format for building community. It is also an incredible platform if you actually want to have a paid community down the line. So something like Patreon and things like that. Patreon is fantastic as well. The only reason I didn't list them is because I feel like they're a little more for just support and for dedicated paid audience. All of these are free to start with, and so you can start creating that space for your community. Circle is also fantastic because it integrates really well with Teachable. Teachable loves working with Circle, and they make it super simple just to have all your students in both places. So, Facebook groups, the beauty of Facebook groups, and the reason I have them second here, even though I don't use them, is because everyone is already on Facebook. So it's usually very easy for people to just join a Facebook group. You make it a private Facebook group, so it's only for the community of your beta program, and then you can open up in the future. But a lot of creators choose Facebook groups because it's just there. Everyone's on it. Super easy to engage with. People don't have to sign up for a new service or anything. Discord is my personal favorite for a free community. It's just super easy to use. It's super cut and dry, super clear. It's a text based format. Yes, you can add images and stuff like that. And a lot of people already have Discord channels. So I prefer Discord because it's also a little bit more where like nerds hang out. So I like getting my community on there. And I'm not saying that with any stake, but like a lot of guitar nerds, a lot of music nerds are on Discord and Reddit. The two kind of work well together. So I wanted to get my community on there because I also think there's a lot of additional value for all of those people to be on there. Kathy, that is a fantastic question. I am going to take that now. How many hours a week to monitor and administer community? So, Kathy, uh, in that 5 to 10 hours that I quoted at the beginning, 5 to 10 hours a week for running your beta program, that's kind of included in there. So, I will check in on my Discord server every 2 days or so. I get notifications about it. So if I see a question come up right away, I'll try and be on there and answer it because it's important to show up and be an example for the students there. But if I'm just seeing students talking and interacting, I can kind of let that play out. That's the other big beauty of community is this is a place where students can react and teach each other. I've already learned lessons from the Discord server that I have just from students talking to each other. So I can't accentuate how important that is. And then another great one that I've heard a lot about recently but haven't used is Group App. They're up and coming. They're very similar to Circle and they have everything you need to build a community. I listed them here just because it's always worth checking out what the new and kind of up and coming competition is doing. So a Group App looks super promising. It looks definitely geared towards people who are thinking about a paid community more in the future. But just wanted to give you those tools. Ultimately, wherever it is that your students are comfortable with and engaging with, that's where you should build a community there. All right. So the last thing, and I say this as a critique to myself, is staying on schedule. I've learned, and I'm struggling to incorporate in my own beta program, that it is super important to present a clear schedule and stick to it. Your dedication will be infectious. I learned real quickly that I did not set aside the amount of time, nor did I have the clarity for myself or my students to have a very specific schedule for this program. If I could go back in time and redo it, I would have got on my calendar. I would have set aside those 5 to 10 hours a week. And I would have said, this will take 2 months. And I need you to commit to that because we're all going to get this done in 2 months. As it turns out, my course is pretty hefty. I'm developing it with another instructor. So there's a lot of elements at play. And the reality is, it's all taking a lot longer than I expected. Luckily, all the students in the beta program are still getting a lot out of it. They're continuing to work on producing their music while we develop kind of other aspects of the course. And they've already contributed an immense amount. But next time I do this, which I'm going to do soon for another course I'm developing, I'm going to be much more clear about the schedule. I'm also going to ask a lot more of a time commitment from those students, but it's going to be clear exactly when it starts, when it ends, and I'm going to stick to it because what I've learned right away is you are acting as an example for your students. If you're not in the community, if you're not answering questions, if you're not sticking to the deadlines you promise, why should they? So you really need to show up and be that example for this because if you do, you're going to create an infectious group of students. And I just mean that they'll be excited, they'll be thrilled, they'll be as excited as you are to go through it. So you need to be that example as we are creating that A team, that initial group of students that are going to really, really represent and skyrocket the transformation that you're promising to all your future students. The last thing you need to do is just do it. And I know that this may seem silly, that this slide is silly, but at the end of the day, there's only one last step, and that is to go do the course. Work through it with your students. You should be taking your own course as a process in this beta program to catch anything as well. So, this is kind of a proofreading phase, not just for yourself, but for everyone. Like I said, I'm in the middle of running my beta program, and holy heck, have I learned so much from day one. From the first person to watch the first video, I learned an immense amount about how I present, how people intake that information. It's so valuable. But at the end of the day, you just open it up. You say the course is open to that initial group of students. This is the schedule. This is when I expect you to be at this place. This is where the check ins are. This is the place you can leave feedback. And then you just have to do it. The beauty is, once you're in it, it's thrilling. It's so, so fantastic to start having an impact on your students. I wish I had started with all the information I'm giving you now, but the beauty is, I'm here to share it so you don't have to make the same mistakes I did. So, you know, here's some of the things that I've learned in the process, just to boil it down. Some mistakes maybe you don't have to make, and also just a little word to the wise for when you do this. The first thing I learned, and this may sound harsh, but I'm talking to myself here, is that you were wrong. I was wrong. Whatever it was you thought, what each student finds valuable and life changing varies immensely. Now, that doesn't mean you should build your course for everyone, but something I learned immediately is that I can't sit in a vacuum and assume I know what's going to be valuable for someone else, which is why this beta program, free mini courses, coaching, consulting, all of these things we are talking about are about getting out of that vacuum, getting out of that isolated space, taking the risk, throwing your knowledge out there, and seeing how people react to it. Immediately, you're going to start creating more impactful, more powerful, and more transformational content and courses if you're open to that feedback, if you remain vulnerable. All of that is how we build it. But the first thing I learned is I had no idea what students were going to find valuable. Some of the things I thought were like old hat, basic knowledge, just need to cover it to get out of the way with. I had students coming back being like, blew my mind. Holy heck, this is making such a difference. So go into it, expect that you're going to have to make changes, expect that unless you've already been teaching curriculum, if you're a teacher or someone who's been working curriculum for years, months, whatever, you have a better idea. But if you're new, or this is your first online course, because also teaching online is very different than in the classroom, just expect to be surprised, expect to adapt, expect to change. The other thing I learned is that having that first group of students is a game changer. Like I said, you're going to learn as much, if not more, than they are. From the check in Zooms that I have had with my students, from the Discord, from all of these things, I've learned as much as they are. They're discovering new aspects of the programs we're using and all those kind of things that I just didn't even know. So just be ready and open to that opportunity. The beauty is, though, you're in the position to take that information, build it into your course, and create really, really impactful curriculum for future students. Like I've said, another thing I learned is it's time to show up. I've been hammering this down this whole event for this whole day. There's a lot of other places where you can cut corners, where there's ways to do it quick or smart, or you don't have to show up, automated, all those optimized things we love to hear in the modern world. But when it comes to this stage, to the beta program, to that first core group of students that you are dedicated to serving, you got to show up. It's time to be a leader. It's time to take it seriously. And it's time to evaluate your own curriculum and your own transformation that you're promising with a critical eye. So be ready for that because it's all going to happen. And the last thing is just you have to make it fun. If you're not having a good time, then your students aren't going to have a good time, And like I just I wrote in here, but I think it's true. I've taught guitar lessons for years. I've built courses for companies. I've been an instructor for many years, and never once have I had a single student ever say, "Can you make it less fun, please?" Right? People still ultimately want to show up, be entertained, and have a good time. Now, the other real point of all of this, the big thing I learned is that having an impact really changes the way you look at these things. So, the minute you start having students come back and say, "Oh my God, this changed the way I do that," or the first time a student sent me a song that they were working on after ingesting some of the information I gave them, and it was wildly better than it was before, that is life changing. Maybe not for them. Maybe it's just another bucket in the hat, but for me, that changed my life. All of the sudden, all the imposter syndrome, all of those things, they didn't go away, but it was diminished. And whether I'm like the smartest person in my field or not, which I'm not, but whatever feelings of that, I now felt like I had an obligation to show up and deliver to these students something that was going to be impactful because clearly that was possible between them and I to make that impact. So I just want to call it out. If any of this seems like a lot of work or you're worried how you can do all of this, like the minute you start having that impact and the minute you're able to start showing up, that impact is going to make all the difference. Kathy and Raymond, I see a couple great questions coming in. I want to wrap up just the presentation here and then I'll get to those questions. So I'm not ignoring you. Don't worry. So I want to make sure that I followed through on my promise today. I said I was going to show you a way that you could test your curriculum. We did that with the beta program, right? Having this initial group of students, that's your number one way to test curriculum. You can go through your course a million times alone. You can get your friend who knows nothing about it to go through it, say if he likes it or not. But having a dedicated group of people who want the transformation that you're promising, who want those benefits that are at the end of that tunnel, those are the people who are really going to help you test that curriculum. I also told you that you're going to build the A team. If you show up and you do all these things I said, that group of A plus students who you made sure understood every step of the curriculum and got through that transformation and who helped you really build that curriculum, they are going to be loyal students who will champion your brand to the bitter end. They really will, because those people know what it's like to work with you. They see some of themselves in your curriculum, in your product. And if they got the transformation that they came in to get and that you promised because you were clear about what you were promising, they're going to want to tell other people about it. Word of mouth is still one of the most powerful marketing mechanisms. And this initial group of students, that's why I say they deserve your attention and your care, and why you should take this beta program seriously. They're going to be one of your most powerful marketing mechanisms in the future. And you'll be able to ask a lot from them because you've given a lot. So we did that. You're going to be launch ready. I don't know if I've made this clear, but the beauty of this initial group of students is, yeah, they're going to give you testimonials. They're going to give you, you can ask for video testimonials, text testimonials, whatever you ask in that initial investment evaluation. You're going to have all of those things when you're ready to take this course live and when you're ready to offer it to a larger group of people. So we did that. The last thing I promised is that this system, running a beta program, would allow you to pre-sell smarter. Everyone should pre-sell their course at one point in one way or another. But the beta program, having gone through it with those students, is going to set you up for an ideal situation to pre-sell because your students. Your students are your best friends. With Teachable, you can easily set up affiliate codes so that that initial group of students is encouraged to go get people to buy the pre-sale because they get a cut. So make sure to incentivize that initial group of students to help when it's time to pre-sell your course, right? That's why really this A team is so there for you. I'll walk you through in a second how and where you can set up affiliate codes in Teachable, but it's super easy to say any student who gets, who sends someone from their affiliate link gets this much money. People love money, money talks. So if you're telling that initial group of students that they have not even just the transformation and all the other value you've offered, but that they have actual skin in the game, that in your pre-sale process, that they can make some money, that goes so far. And I hope now I've delivered on all the things that I promised I would. Hop in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions. I know there's a few rolling in right now, so I want to answer those in a minute. But in a second, we're going to dive into Teachable itself. I want to show you a couple of the aspects of Teachable that we utilize to run the beta program, a little bit what my beta program looks like so you can get an idea for it and some things like that. However, I want to answer a couple of these questions that have been coming in first, just so we can all keep up. Yeah, and just keep dropping questions in. I will have time after I show you the Teachable to answer any remaining ones. Um, so Raymond is saying, oh, I just love this as an example. Raymond is building a roadmap of the process as he goes. He's drafting over 2 days a clear expectations email to each of the 12 members of a beta program. That is a fantastic, when I'm talking about clarity, Raymond, your head is in the exact right spot. And then Kathy was saying, good idea, Raymond. Did you use a template for the roadmap? Uh, Kathy, and then Kathy, you were asking, or does Teachable have a roadmap template? Kathy, not specifically a whole roadmap, but I highly, highly encourage you to go look at the past 7 or 8, I think 8 or 9 events we've done so far, and think of that as your roadmap. We've been really trying to construct these events in a logical format. So if you go start at event 1 and end up now, you should have a pretty clear roadmap of what to do. Also, continue to look to all those other resources in the description. We have a free PDF called How to Sell an Online Course. That is a fantastic roadmap for a lot of the more, now you have a course, now it's time to sell it models, but there's also a lot of clips from past spotlight events we've done with creators talking through their specific roadmaps and ways they've done it. It's hard to create a template that works for everyone because everyone's audience, everyone's curriculum, everyone's time, availability, and just ability in general changes a lot. So, Kathy, there is not going to be a roadmap out there that works perfectly for everyone. However, we're trying to give you that roadmap. There's a lot of creators out there who have been on past spotlight events that are also trying to do that. So feel free to reach out, drop in the comments if there's any specific aspects of that roadmap you're struggling with, and I'll be happy to try and point you in the right direction. Um, and then Pamela was saying, I may have missed it, but how many beta testers should you have, minimum, maximum? Great question, Pamela. You didn't miss that. I didn't clarify that because it can change a lot. Um, some people have financial goals in mind. So if you're saying it's going to cost this much of my time to make this beta program happen, then you might have a financial incentive to get a certain amount of students. I would say if it's your first time doing this, I wouldn't do more than 15 or 20. That's a lot to handle. That's also enough of a test group. I'm have 7 to 10 students in my beta program, and for me, I was focused less on how many and more on trying to get a variety. So I wanted to make sure that there was people from different genres of music, different backgrounds of life, different demographics. I wanted to make sure that my course would work for a bunch of different kinds of people. So I tried to focus on having a variety of people in there, less than like how many people. But I think over 20, and you're pushing your ability to really make sure that you can help all of those people. Um, I know there's a few more coming up, a few more questions that have come in. Um, okay, okay. Oh, interesting. So, sorry, I'm just catching up, everyone. Star performer is outlying in their industry. There's a lot more. It sounds like healthcare. So, there's a lot more you have to be. There's a lot more you have to be careful about. And star performer, I do want to call this out. This is such a great point. Sounds like multi-level marketing, MLM. That's a whole dark road to go down for sure. I'm not saying that we set up a system for future students to on and on get referrals. I'm just saying that we treat this initial group of students with the respect and the gravity that they deserve, and we enable them to share with value. So no, you shouldn't be saying to these students, here, you can make a great living off of this, but just give them a little more incentive and just say, you can make 10, 20, $50 for every student that you get in my pre-sale phase, in these initial phases. Star performer, I highly appreciate you calling that out, because no, we're not trying to create an MLM. We're not trying to create some giant Tupperware scheme here. We're just trying to give a little extra incentive so that when when your initial group of students are called to action, they have the tools, the incentive, and the ability to help you with that initial pre-sale. Don't expect to do this forever, just a option for when you can do it. Um, but yeah, okay. So I think I've answered all the questions at the moment. And um, awesome. I want to dive into the Teachable product and show you a couple of these things that help run a beta program. So let's take a look here. The first thing I wanted to show is just what the beta program kind of looks like, how I'm running mine, and how I kind of approached it. So you'll see I first built all of my curriculum into a course that has an active sales page where I'm collecting leads for the future. That course is living as what will be the final course. And it's super easy once you've built that structure. You can just click here in more options and click duplicate course, and then there you go. You have a beta version of that course. Adding users. So anyone you get to sign up is really simple. You may not want to take this page live. So adding users is super simple. You can just go to those users, click add students, and you can manually add them or import a CSV. All of those students will then be enrolled in the course. You can say enroll them into a specific course, and you can confirm that these people have given their consent for you to email them in the future. So it's really easy adding students to your beta program. The next thing I wanted to show you, which is pretty low key, is just the sales page for my course. So yes, I have the students going through the beta program, but along with the incentives I provided them, I also have an active sales page for my future course. I highly recommend this, even if all you do is have the availability for people to sign up with their email. So let's take a look at my sales page. It's pretty robust as far as what's there. But in the end, I don't have any actual ability to buy the course. I just say, if you're interested in this course, drop your email here. This at least gives your beta program students a place where they can point people who are interested in joining the course in the future. So, no, they may not be able to sign up right at the moment, but I've already had students in the beta program saying, "Hey, I was talking to my friend about this course and they would really love to join. Where can they go to learn more and all of this?" My sales page. I send them here. They can learn more about the course, more about the two instructors, any questions they might have, and ultimately drop their email in here. I segment any of those potential leads so that they're going to be notified for my pre-sale pricing and discounts and all of those aspects. So you want to have a live sales page for your eventual course, you're going to refine it, you're going to work on it. That can be one of the things you ask that initial group of students to do, is help you figure out how that's going to work, what looks best, if it's attractive, all of those aspects. But that initial sales page at least provides a place for your students and the building community to go and promote it, and at least drop an email so in the future you know that there's people who are interested in the course when it's time to actually go sell it. Um, the other thing I wanted to show you is just when it comes to those users, anyone who signs up or any aspect, it's super easy to integrate those users across. So just like that, you can export a CSV of all your current students. You can drop that into your email marketing service, your CRM, and engage with those students. So if you want, you can also just email all of your students on the Teachable platform right here where it says emails. Then you can engage with those students within the Teachable platform so that you're keeping it all in one place. It makes it super easy for you, super easy for that initial beta program. In the future, as you have more students joining, you're going to want to build your email list outside of it. But as far as just engaging with your beta program, you can do all of it within Teachable itself, and it makes it super easy. It's a little harder to build community within Teachable, although you can have comment sections and all of that. So if you wanted just to keep it all in Teachable, you can do that. I just wanted to call out like what the Discord looks like. So I have the Discord group for my course. Discord is really simple, but you can see if we log in here that it's a just very text based place, but I've been saying here are regular meetings. Everyone, do you want to sign up with this link? All of that kind of jazz. I'm dropping like what the future lessons are going to be. It's really simple. And then I also have places for people to ask specific production questions, and then a place for people to share their music and comment on it. And then a place which I need to encourage more people to do because no one is doing this because I think they're all nervous, but a place where people can reach out and collaborate with each other. So that's kind of what a basic community looks like. Like I said, Discord is really nice because it's just text based. It doesn't like notify you about too many crazy things all the time. So I really enjoy that. And the last thing I wanted to show you is how you can create affiliates. So if you go to users and affiliates, you can add an affiliate. All you have to do is input their name, their email. You can give them a password, and then you can create the commission for them. So, like Star Performer was calling out, and I really do value this, you're not trying to build some giant like mechanism of people dropping referrals for future affiliates. Or if you want to do that, that's all up to you. I think that stuff is predatory, and especially MLMs and stuff like that have led to really, really bad practice. But it's really easy to set up a small commission for your future or for that beta group of students to get a little kickback when they get students in. It's also worth it because those people are putting their time in. So I feel like it's really easy. And Star Performer, yeah, you're saying be careful, fee splitting, kickbacks for referrals, be careful. Yes, it is something you should be careful about. And depending on your field, like you were saying with healthcare, it's something you want to consider seriously because people can be pushing students that maybe wouldn't be there for your course to your course just to get money. It is something to consider and be careful about, but I'm not going to write it off. It's worked for me. It's gone a long way. And it's less about those students going and making a living off of referring your course or anything like that. And just saying, I appreciate your time. So a small amount that's reasonable that compensates them for the time they put into getting someone to come join your course. But no, you're not trying to run a giant multi-level marketing scheme with Teachable or dive into any sort of graded affiliate program, but it's all there for you and it's really easy to set up when you want to do that. All right. So, any more questions? That's everything I have to show you today. I have a little more time to dive into any questions you have. I can go review any slides if there was anything, any further questions you had. Oh, I'm seeing a couple coming in from Sarah. So Sarah Dawn is asking, so you can add students to the beta program without having a sales page? Yes, by duplicating and having so the way I did that, Sarah, because I wanted to kind of have two separate, is I have the two versions of the same course. So I created my whole course that then has the sales page and all of that. That's the actual live course. Then I duplicated it and I have an unpublished version of that course that students are going through so I can make changes to all of that, update the sales page. And basically have like an active public version and then a draft version that I'm updating and changing, which will become the final version once the whole group is through it. So you can think of my public version as actually being the rough draft that I'm putting out there for the like audience for everyone to see, but then the unpublished version is the one that my beta program is engaging with. You can do this in a bunch of different ways. You can have a course open, have it closed. I liked this version because I could just think about them as two independent options. But it's super easy to duplicate a course. So I thought, why not do that? I'll switch them when it's time to go. So, yes, that is all possible. And then Sarah was also asking, would you add private channels in your Discord for different groups of students? Totally possible. It depends on how many students you're working with. When I get to the point where where the course is live and fully running for the public, I will have a separate channel in my Discord for this like original OG group of students. I want to make sure that they continue to feel special, that they have a little extra attention, and that they're enabled to go out and represent the course and help other people as well. So, again, that's like my A group. So, you can do that if you want. Segmenting depends on how much you're willing to take on and handle. Just make sure there's a purpose for that. One thing I learned right off the bat is I started my Discord with like 19 different channels and no one was engaging with most of them. So keep it to like the minimal amount of channels that makes sense for the amount of people that you're working with. Make sure each channel has a clear purpose so students know what it is supposed to be used for. And then Raymond was just commenting from earlier. His curriculum is complex, so buying the textbook and sending it to each of my 12 beta test members, building trust and remaining professional. Raymond, that is an investment, but it's a fantastic way. And yes, I highly encourage treating that initial beta program with all of that value and giving them everything you got. If those students come back and say, hey, this aspect wasn't helpful, or I didn't need the textbook for that, just make sure to create that place where students can give you feedback and let you know what of those resources was valuable. So maybe in the future, you don't need to send the whole textbook, or there's ways to incorporate that, turn it into your own information. But I love that. Sounds like Raymond, Pamela, a lot of you are thinking really seriously about this beta program aspect, are already in it. And I love hearing that. Everyone, that's pretty much all the time I have today. If you have any more questions, or if you're watching the replay, feel free to drop any of those questions in the comments. I do go back and read all of them, and I try and answer any question that comes up. I want to call out, if you are interested and diving in and in this place with your course where you're getting ready to think about launch strategies, please attend tomorrow's event. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking all about email templates and specific strategies you can use during your launch to make sure that you're not missing out on potential students, that you have a clear strategy, and also that you're not wasting a whole bunch of time building buzz around something that people don't know how to find, or they don't know what it's about. So attend tomorrow's event if you want to learn a little more about what you can do in your launch week, in your launch strategy itself. And also in the description, we have a few resources. If you have not signed up for a Teachable account yet, it's 100% free. You can do so with the link below. The free account gives you access to just about everything we talked about today. You can dive into building your own courses, offering free mini courses, starting to grow your audience with lead capture forms, and a place to start growing an email list. So even if you're just at the beginning of this process, but you showed up today, start a free Teachable account, get in there, get familiar with the product. It's going to help you so much more when it's time to actually get all of that curriculum into the product itself. itself and start building coaching and curriculum products. So that's there for you. Also, like I said, we just opened a free mini course that'll help you get your home base set up on Teachable. So if you have a Teachable account or don't have one yet, but you want to create a beautiful homepage with a lead capture form and a custom domain ready to start collecting students and showcasing your product, that mini course is 100% for you. It's also going to go into how to design a logo for free and how to lock down your kind of brand colors and feels. So go drop into that mini course if you haven't yet. It's 100% free. It's a 5-day challenge, but you can take as long as you want. We just want to try and get you motivated and have that beautiful homepage you can start sharing in 5 days. So that's there for you. There is also the PDF, like I mentioned, that is more about how to sell your online course. So if you're already at the point where you have a course, but you're struggling with actually getting it to people or getting people to actually buy it, that PDF is 100% for you. It's totally free. It's not even email gated like we say your lead magnet should be. It's just there for you. So that's in the description as well. Hop in there and grab that as well. And last but not least, go to spotlightapp.io to check out what events are coming up. We have 2 this week. Like I said, tomorrow we're talking all about actual launch week strategy. And then on Thursday, we're going to be sitting down with Leon Hill, who is a fascinating individual we've had on for a few events, but he just launched a new course, and we're going to dive in with him all about launching a course, what he's learned about it. He is a traveler, a biohacker, a social media specialist. So he is a walking, talking wealth of information. And that is going to be such an awesome event. So you can set a reminder for those events on YouTube if you're on YouTube, or you can go to spotlightapp.io and register for those events to get reminder emails and extra goodies after the event. Also, the replay will be sent to you if you sign up for the event there. And I think that's everything I got. Please hop in the comments and let me know if this was valuable. We want to make sure that all of these events are giving you the information you need. So also, if there's anything we didn't cover today that you're struggling with, let us know and we'll try and build events around that. It means the world to us that you're here with us today and that you took the time to help get your online business to the next level. It's always a blast hanging out with you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, everybody.